Broncos face a tough road contest against the defending Super Bowl champions on Sunday. Are they ready for their toughest challenge yet? What's up, Broncos country? My name is Brandon Gilchrist. Well, it's week 5, and the Broncos are right where they want to be after the first quarter of the season. Now they move into their toughest challenge yet. Before we look at the matchup, let's go ahead and take a look at the word on the beat this week. It's October, which means it's Crucial Catch month for the NFL. And what that means is recognition all across the league when it comes to those who fought, faced, or been impacted by cancer. And here we are. Kerry Walton Penner and Damani Leach are at it again, unveiling the Fight Like a Bronco bell that was designed by the Eagle Crest High School students and the Cherry Creek Innovation Campus. This bell was unveiled during the pregame ceremonies at Mile High. People will have an opportunity to ring the bell around hospitals when somebody's beaten cancer. The Broncos were the first organization to start recognizing cancer beyond just breast cancer during the month of October. So it's awesome to see them continuing to innovate and lead the way in this way. Along with that, Kerry and co-owner Condoleezza Rice held an alumni event over the weekend, hosting alumni and their spouses, discussing the topic of leadership. Questions were submitted beforehand, and attendees were able to ask questions also during the event. Once again, the Broncos ownership just showing their commitment to making sure that past players still feel valued by the organization and are continually welcome to Broncos facilities. All right. Let's talk about this matchup. The Broncos face the Eagles on their home turf at Lincoln Financial Field this Sunday, and it's going to be a tough one. The Eagles have won 20 of their last 21 contests, including the Super Bowl. The 2025 season has started strong for them. They're 4-0. Now, it's a really shaky 4-0 in the fact that they've won in very messy ways. This team just seems to have a lot of grit to it. They really have that feeling of past Patriots teams or Kansas City teams where it seems like the opposing team has an opportunity or has the chance to win, but if you mess up, if you have a flaw, if you make a mistake, this team will capitalize, and ultimately that's what leads to you losing the game. You can't take your foot off the gas, and you can't make mistakes against this team. Now, there's a metric out there that some may or may not be familiar with. It's called DVOA. Now, DVOA means defense adjusted value over average. It takes into account beyond just your general statistics, beyond a quarterback rating, beyond sacks, beyond interceptions. It takes into account situations that happen throughout the entire game and what happened during those situations. Ultimately calculates into a percentage of efficiency for the entirety of the team. Looking at the Broncos, they are currently 9th overall in DVOA, 10th in defense, 10th in offense, and 22nd in special teams. For the Eagles, they're 12th overall, 17th on offense, and 14th on defense. And this is where you start to see that piece, what I was talking about when it comes to messy wins. This team is not the same team that won the Super Bowl last year. At least right now, they're not performing like they are. They're down when it comes to their rushing performance. They're down when it comes to their passing performance. And you can see it from that DVOA measurement. Overall, the performance of the team is down, but they're still finding ways to win. And that's the watch out for us here. Let's take a look at the Broncos defense versus the Eagles offense. The Broncos are currently first in the league in sacks with 15. They are top 3 in pressure rate. And Vance Joseph's 3-4 hybrid attacking defense, this entire team is putting pressure on the quarterback at a very high rate. The Broncos defense currently generates pressure on 57% of a quarterback's dropbacks. Now, why this matters is Jalen Hurts is having a tough time with pressure right now. When he's pressured on his dropbacks, he only averages about 5.7 yards attempt. That's good for 24th in the NFL. So that's an opportunity for the Broncos right there. Now, this defense will be facing the Eagles offense, who is led by coordinator Kevin Patullo in his first year as offensive coordinator for the Eagles. Previously, he was a passing game coordinator for the Eagles and has been that since 2021. Prior to that, he was a passing game analyst and a wide receivers coach for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this could be why the offense is getting off to such a slow start. You're talking about a slightly new offense after the departure of Kellen Moore to the New Orleans Saints. When you're the Super Bowl champion, everybody's going to be adjusting and preparing to face you. You're also going to see everyone's best effort. And that seems to be translating so far. With that being said, when the Eagles reach the red zone, they score. They're currently 11 out of 11 in the red zone, which is absolutely ridiculous. On top of that, Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown an interception. Taking a look at Saquon Barkley, who was the offensive player of the year in 2024, made the Madden cover. He's starting slow so far this year, averaging under 3 yards a carry. We don't want Sunday to be the day that he gets going and this offense gets going. They need to make sure that stopping Saquon Barkley is the number one goal. The Eagles also have some amazing pass catchers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Now, those that pay attention to social media or follow the news have seen, once again, A.J. Brown is in the news for pouting, saying some cryptic things on social media, and just overall complaining about not getting the ball and just the struggles that this offense is having. You know, a receiver, they want the ball, so not necessarily surprising. What the Broncos are going to have to look out for is, in the past, after A.J. Brown complains, they tend to try to force the ball to him. And A.J. Brown can make some plays. So we can't let this game be the game that A.J. Brown all of a sudden turns it on and this offense unlocks. It's going to be fun to watch Pat Surtain and Riley Moss go up against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I think this is one of the more intriguing components of the matchup on Sunday, and I'm excited to watch it. Now let's talk about the Broncos offense versus the Eagles defense. This is also going to be extremely exciting because we're talking about a Sean Payton-led offense against a previous Broncos head coach and noted defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. Our offense go against the Vic Fangio defense is going to be something to watch. I imagine scoring is going to be at a premium in this game, which means potentially coming down to a kick to win this game, and special teams being a major factor. Now, Vic Fangio runs a 3-4 cover shell type of defense. So what that means is 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and he generally keeps his safeties back. He always wants to keep everything in front of his defense. He forces offenses to have to methodically move down the field. He doesn't mind if you move in between the 20s. It's when you get to the red zone that you're going to get stopped. And when you look at the statistics, this is exactly how it pans out. Right now, the Eagles defense is 3rd in red zone defense. FYI, the Broncos are 1st in red zone defense. Again, this is why I say it's going to come down to probably a kick at the end of the game. Now, in their last matchup against the Buccaneers, there were a couple opportunities, more like blown coverages that happened for some big plays. I would imagine, knowing Sean Payton and how much he likes to throw the ball, they're going to be looking for those opportunities, whether it's through a specific look or just throwing the ball up to Courtland Sutton because he is such a big-bodied receiver that is great at getting those jump balls. I imagine the Broncos are going to try once, twice, 3 times throughout the game to try to get those big plays, but I don't think they're opposed to trying to march down the field. This is also where the running game is going to have to be huge. J.K. Dobbins was awesome in week 4. R.J. Harvey also got to the end zone. Let's see that same focus happen in this contest as well. Though Vic Fangio defenses do pride themselves in stopping the run, that can't deter us from attempting to do so. And I hope that Sean Payton remains patient. It's been interesting to hear Bo talk about the run game in press conferences because it seems like he also recognizes how key the run game is to unlocking everything else that happens in the Broncos offense. So here's hoping that he stays patient as well and doesn't start trying to force things. Now, there are a couple notable players on the Eagles defense in Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon is quietly having a great season as a cornerback, very similar to Pat Surtain last year. He is locking down his receiver assignments. I don't know if he'll be responsible for solely covering Courtland or if he'll move around because the Broncos do have so many weapons. One thing I want to see this offense do is consistently score. Now, I know that's might be at a premium this time around because of this matchup, but the third quarter seemed to be where the Broncos hit a wall last game. I'd love to see them consistently score, even if that just means field goals. That is an opportunity for this team to just continue to move the ball, end in field goals, and then rely on our defense to shut down the Eagles' offense. Special teams is going to play a major factor in this game. We can't have a mistake happen on our special teams. Now, Jeremy Crawshaw's been punting well. We're going to need him to punt well in this game. Marvin Mims has done well at returning the kicks, though the last 2 games he's had a couple bobbles. We can't have any sort of missteps when it comes to the kicking game, whether that's punt returns or kick returns this time around. And when it comes to field goals, we've got to be shored up and make sure that Will Lutz has the protection he needs to make his kicks. For the league overall, the kicking game has been a major factor in a ton of contests. And the Eagles in particular have had 3 blocked kicks, 2 field goals, and 1 punt, which is incredible. Teams generally have 1 or less of those happen for them throughout the year. So for the Eagles to already have 3 in 4 weeks, that tells you their special teams is not afraid to attack. Taking a look at the health report for both teams, starting with the Eagles. The Eagles are coming into this very healthy. Nakobe Jean has been on their physically unable to perform list. He could have been a factor for the Eagles, but is not going to be the case this time on Sunday. Their defensive end, Jalen Carter, showed up on the health report, as well as their tackle, Lane Johnson, but they were full participants on Friday and fully expect to play. For the Broncos, early on Wednesday, Nate Atkins didn't practice, which made me nervous because we just got him back, and he has been a factor in the success of the Broncos run game last week, so it's good to see that he was a full participant for practice on Friday and should be good to go to play on Sunday. Other than that, tight end Lucas Kroll won't be playing after having injury after Friday's practice. He's not going to be traveling with the team to Philadelphia at all. He's going to be one of the inactives. This is going to be a great test for the team on Sunday, y'all. I'm excited for this matchup. This will be the first measuring stick for us on if this team has moved past just beating the teams that they're supposed to. It is ready to face teams that are contending for the playoffs. And what better test of that than facing the Super Bowl champions on the road in their house. Now, the Eagles aren't the same team from 2024. Though they're undefeated, they have some flaws. And I think the Broncos can capitalize on the slow start that the Eagles seem to be having. Being on the road in hostile territory isn't easy, but these Broncos seem confident, and it would be great to see them come out of this with a surprising win that frankly would shake up the entire league. What do you think about the matchup against the Eagles? Do you think the Broncos can get the win? Let me know in the comments. As always, be kind. Talk to you after the game, Broncos country.